and today I'm joining Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life for her 30 days of sketches. And you saw the sketch we're going to be playing with at the beginning of the video, and there is my youngest son who likes to play with my Creative Memories trimmers and also has a broken elbow. So I decided that I wanted to hand stitch across all of these where all the circles were on the sketch. So to begin with, I'm going to start by taking this Creative Memories circle, the big one. I started out thinking I would use the small one, but I really wanted nice big circles. And I'm going to trace 4 of them onto my layout and onto my white cardstock. And then apparently I'm sending a message to someone, probably Christy. Sounds like me. Anyway, and then, so I traced all of my Creative Memories. The templates, I created 4 circles, and now I'm going to stitch them. So from my embroidery floss here, I chose a yellow, a pale pink, a deeper pink, and a dark gray. And I'm going to punch holes and stitch and stitch and stitch and stitch and stitch for a really long time. And so now all of my hand stitching is done, and I have those 4 interwoven circles. And I am working with my Secret Not Secret Kit Club kit that I purchased that is matches those embroidery threads. And I'm just going to take some of the 6x6 papers, these 3 patterns of the 6x6 papers, and I'm going to use them to mat my photo with. This sketch is really easy. I think the hardest or the most time-consuming part of this particular sketch to follow is all the stitching that I did. But once that stitching was done, it was so pretty, and I was really determined not to cover a ton of it up. I really, after doing all that work, stitching it all together and interweaving all of the embroidery threads into all the different circles, yeah, I wasn't wanting to cover it up very much. So I took these 6x6 pads, pieces of paper, just to get a couple layers onto my picture. If you're interested in this kit, there is an unboxing video that you can check out on my channel. And it's early in the morning, and I'm having a cup of coffee. Well, it's not super early in the morning, but it's early enough that I need more coffee. So the sketch called for a banner, and I decided that I wanted to go ahead and I cut that pale pink 6x6 paper pad in half, and then I'm going to create a fishtail at the end, and then I'm actually going to cut the top of it off too, to create that small banner. So there's my photo. This is my niece, and my sister is a photographer. She's awesome. And she's just a what's that word? Amateur photographer, I guess would be the word, except that she's not amateur at all. She has all these awesome, like, she's all the lights and everything, so she does amazing pictures of my niece and my nephews. So I'm using my T-square ruler to create the illusion that that banner piece goes behind the photo and is much longer than it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that in there. And yes, my youngest son broke his arm. He has a radial fracture way up high by his elbow. And yeah, it's been a fun weekend. So he's doing better now, and he didn't need surgery, which was really, really good. And yeah, so going through all of my die cut papers here, and I am picking out the little bits and pieces that I want to use for this bottom cluster. I love all of these die cuts. It was really hard for me to kind of choose which ones I wanted to put on this layout and which ones I maybe wanted to save for later, but those 2 larger pieces were too perfect, and they fit right there onto the into the sketch very, very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of grab some of the offcuts, and I'm actually going to use a branding strip from the 6x6 pad, and I'm going to use these items as layers to layer up down there at that bottom for the main embellishment cluster on my layout. And I am inking all of my layers and all of my papers with Hickory Smoke Distress ink because we don't have any, there is a little bit of black in this layout, but it's not a black. Like, it really did look, when I was creating this layout, I didn't feel like I was working with black. I felt like I was working with dark gray. So those little die cuts and pieces from the die cut pack are just, they are really kind of muted gray, or I don't know, I don't even think they're black. I really do think that they're dark gray. So I went through my stash and I grabbed some gold glitter thickers, and I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of a title up there. That's not where the title is on the sketch, but I didn't care. And so now I want to just stamp the month that these photos were taken. I actually have another page that goes on the opposite side of this one in my album that has a little bit more information about it, but I decided to use the Cracked Pistachio Distress Oxide ink that came in my kit to go ahead and add the month that this photo was taken. And now I am just going to go through and adhere all of these little bits and pieces down where I would like them. As you know, I really don't like naked tags. So, since I have some yellow twine in my kit, yay! Perfect. I'm going to add a little swirly piece of twine to my top of my tag here, and I do this quite often. I just use Scotch quick dry adhesive in a fine line bottle, and I draw little swirlies with my glue pen, and then push the twine down in it and let it dry. And yeah, I really like this. It's a technique I use quite often because no naked tags, really. I'm sorry for my head, and this was my hair is not greasy, it's wet. Because sometimes you scrapbook when your hair's wet and you threw it up, right? Right, okay. And you don't feel like using hair dryer. Sometimes, yeah, no. I can't really see, what am I doing here? Oh, I'm adding pop dots, yay! Okay, so these are just some foam adhesive dots, and I'm using them. I popped up the ends of my banner, and I'm popping up some of the little corners of this tag and this other little piece here. And let's see, what's next? I'm going to go ahead and cluster up these two die cut shapes and also this big flare badge. This big flare badge in my kit, I'm pretty sure that it is from Office Suite, from Fancy Pants. I know it's a Fancy Pants collection. I can't remember what it's called because I very much remember that floral, and I remember having that floral in my stash and loving it. So I know it's Fancy Pants, but I really do think it's Office Suite, but I'm not 100% sure. So now I'm going to pull out these little buttons and these little flowers, and I'm going to go ahead and just use a couple of these little flowers at a couple different spots around my layout, just to have so your eye can kind of travel around into those places. And I'm just going to adhere them down with a little bit of my Scotch quick dry adhesive, and they stayed pretty good. I just put a big block there and popped it on, and no biggie. I think that another thing you could try is if you have the Zots glue dots, the bling ones, the minuscule ones, the tiny ones that I use for my sequins. I probably could have pulled those out and used them to attach these little, I don't know what they're called, caboochin things? I don't know. But that's going to finish this layout. I hope you've enjoyed this. Be sure to check out Christy's video over on her channel and see what she does with this sketch too. Bye!